71 years ago, on June 25th, 1950, a war was just starting. Not just any war, but one that would involve more than 20 nations and have over 158 peace negotiation meetings in the span of 2 years. The Korean War of 1950 through 1953 involved quite a bit of diplomacy, especially when you realize that the whole war was just over two nations who both wanted the other under their control. Like I said before, this event involved 21 nations total. The main five of those being South Korea, North Korea, the United States, the Soviet Union, and China. With those being the most active countries in this war, it's not hard to see why tensions got really high really fast, especially with the Cold War in the background. The Korean War was inevitable from the time Ri Sang-man became the president of the Republic of Korea. The reason for this being that when Ri came to power, he had a vision of one big Republic of Korea that united both the North and the South. The only problem with that was that the leader of North Korea, Kim Il-sung, also had similar dreams to unite Korea, but his were a little bit different. He wanted all of Korea united, yes, but he also wanted it to be a fully communist nation. Kim Il-sung did not like it in the slightest bit when Ri Sang-man was elected as president of South Korea in 1948. So much so that he started writing to Stalin in hopes of getting support for the war that he wanted to start, because he was going to get his communist Korea no matter what. By this point, the Soviet Union did not want to get directly into another war, so they didn't. However, that doesn't mean that they were just going to sit this one out. Oh no. Instead of getting straight into the fight, they decided to send their soldiers, but disguised in Korean and Chinese uniforms and flying their bombers as well. They also gave North Korea some of the guns that were left over from World War II. On the other side, South Korea was also preparing for war. Ri Sang-man knew that this war would happen any week now, so they had to be ready. With this threat rapidly approaching, they decided to try their best to get an alliance with the United States of America. They knew this was their best shot at an advantage, and it could mean the difference of them winning or losing this war. Over in the US, President Truman was just being notified about the high possibility of an attack on South Korea from North Korea. With communism being such a huge fear in America at the time, President Truman accepted an alliance with South Korea. He feared that if the North were to succeed in taking over the South and spreading communism there, it would act as a domino effect and push other countries to be overthrown by communism. Finally, on June 25, 1950, the dreaded war began. It started with the North pushing into South Korea and capturing Seoul. From there, the North then pushed south even further down, eventually holding everything but Busan. There, the South Korean and American armies held out and fought until American air and naval backup arrived, completely changing the playing field. After that, they managed to push the North back up past Seoul, back into their own territory again. The war could have ended there, but instead of being satisfied with just containing the North, the US decided to invade them as well. This was a very bad idea. After invading the North, China started to feel threatened by the United States and sent reinforcements to help Kim Il-sung. Because of this, the war dragged out and did not see any advancements in compromisation for a long period of time. For 2 years, there were no negotiations to be settled upon, until finally on July 27, 1953, US military commanders and the Korean People's Army finally agreed on the Korean Armistice Agreement. This agreement, which took 2 years to be settled upon, ended the 3 years of fighting, and served as the military ceasefire necessary to afford negotiating space for a final peace agreement. As you can see, diplomacy was not lacking in the Korean War of the 1950s, especially considering that it, in total, involved 21 nations, 158 peace meetings alone, and took 2 years of debating between these countries to finally settle upon an agreement that would make everyone happy.